Well, he got balked coming onto the back straight then, really, and it goes to show just how close, really, the V8 is in comparison to straight line speed with our car, Darryl.
Jimmy Richards now decides that he wants to lead back, so he starts to close up through the twisty bits of this Adelaide street circuit now. But Percy, he knows he's there. All he can see is red, white and blue in the mirrors as they come up to the Stag corner now. A corner that Mark Scaife has horrible memories of last year.
Yeah, it's not the best spot in the world there, Darryl, is it? But I think Jimmy's caught in the sandwich there at the moment, and Glenn will be looking for a way past down the end of the straight now.
Glenn's getting the advantage of some slipstreaming now. The little bit of tussle between Wynn and Jim has allowed him just to come up that little bit, and he'll be wanting to gain what he can out of the slipstream on the straight and perhaps nail a little bit more distance under brakes at the end of the main straight. But it's still Wynn Percy holding off Jim Richards, followed by Glenn Seaton.
Yes, and then we have Larry Perkins, Peter Brock and Dick Johnson has taken Tony Longhurst back for the top 6 spot. But Wynn Percy at the moment getting all the support here from the people packed into the stands. They love to hold the V8 out in front from time to time. It doesn't get too many chances these days. But Jimmy Richards now flicks a wheel up. Look at this. Richards comes down on the inside. Says, my corner, will there be a touch here? Oh, Wynn Percy's got to go wide, but beautiful driving there by Jimmy Richards. He just passed his way through. Now Glenn Seaton has a chance. He dives down the other side to get a better line. But looks like Wynn Percy will hold on to that second spot. Nice bit of driving.
That was very nice. Jimmy was quite cheeky, but certainly within his rights, and he just forced Wynn a little bit left. He had to back off because he didn't have the real estate in front of him, and it gave Jim the perfect advantage once he had the pit straight in front of him to gun it, and he's got that couple of car lengths again on him.
Mark, physically, how difficult are these cars around this street circuit with so much concrete?
Well, touring cars traditionally are very, very hard cars to drive, Darryl, and it's always fairly hot here. It's a very demanding little circuit, and I'm sure after the end of this 20 laps it'll be very, very hard on the guys, especially as desperate as they are at the moment.
Well, Alan, you've never actually raced the car here, but the daunting thought that if you lose, you're going to hit something in most places.
There's no giving, there's no forgiveness here at all, right? And in that respect, there's just that little bit of a reservation every time these fellows are throwing the cars right-handed, and you'll also notice. And Wynn had to do it coming onto the pit straight. He actually slammed on the brakes in the middle of the corner because he didn't have the real straight in front of him, and he was at the wrong angle to capitalize on where he needed to go. So they'll all be very tentative when they thrash them through the corners.
All right, Connor's BMW now in front of the traffic, so holding up Jim Richards at the moment, but that hasn't really helped Wynn Percy. He might have gained half a car length out of it, but of course he now gets through. Seaton gets through in 3rd place, so Glenn Seaton very handily placed here. I mean, he's done it all right.
He is in a nice position. 3rd around here is absolutely no problem at all. He's really only looking at one gap, 1 car length.
Okay, heading up across the start-finish line now, so a fair way to go yet. Stay with us, Australia. The Tourist, big action. 20 now, it's Richards, Percy, Seaton, Perkins, Brock, Johnson. They're the top 6 for you. So the Nissan of Jim Richards still leading this race, but not too comfortably. Wynn Percy drops back a little. Seaton is staying in touch. You can see a bit of damage there from that first lap dash into the corner. But I noticed the cars are diving around a little bit on the straight, Mark. What's the reason for that?
Darryl, obviously it's a little bit warm there now, and all you've got to do is get out of the stream of the car in front. So basically you're trying to get some more wind in the front of the car to help the cooling of the car. So Glenn, instead of trying to hook on behind another car and go faster, he's actually getting out to cool the car.
Well, the turbocharger running at 1,000 degrees C's, and obviously once the water gets up into the 90s, he wouldn't want a chance boiling the engine. But he's doing extremely well, staying in this tight formation of the first 3 cars. They've got a gap now considerably on the 4th, 5th, and 6th cars. You can see just out of picture there at the moment. But Jim's leading a fine race, but certainly Wynn Percy's not letting him get anywhere. Under brakes at every corner. He's nailing the back of that Nissan. And Glenn Seaton also just waiting for a mistake between either one of the 2 cars in front of him.
Yeah, staggered at the brakes on the Wynn Percy Holden, because, I mean, Alan Jones was saying this morning that they are going to have, they'll come into play at around half distance in this race because the brakes of the big Holdens will start to fade. But Mark, they're really holding well, but you thought that was going to be the case anyway.
Yeah, Bathurst, they've been very, very good recently, Darryl, and I think in lots of the touring car rounds they've been surprisingly fast. So I just saw Tony Longhurst just nail Dick Johnson, so he's back into 6th place. But, about this time of the race now, you probably see Tony start to catch some ground.
Peter Brock doing the best he can to catch teammate Larry Perkins, but Larry's decided that he's going to lead home Brock this time round, and if Brock's going to get him, well, he's going to do everything he can to get past him. Larry likes the street circuits. He's a bit of a street fighter as far as runner racing goes.
He's a fighter, and he doesn't have to be on the streets to do it either, I can tell you, Darryl. But the two cars identically prepared, and he's doing a nice job there in front of his mate today. I did hear a little miss in Peter's car yesterday afternoon, obviously not running perhaps as fast as he would like it.
Well, we'll see if we can talk to Brock. He's pretty busy going down the straight now. Peter Brock, can you hear me? It's Darryl Eastlake. No, we've got some audio problems there, so we'll forget about talking to Peter Brock in the car, but you can see him at work there anyway, as he now makes his way around onto the main straight, and nothing between the two Holden cars. You can see there Larry Perkins in front, but Brocky wouldn't like to finish behind LP, so there'll be plenty of push and shove yet.
Yeah, for sure, and he's got something else to think about, and that's that spray of yellow he's got behind him there, which is going to be a BMW all over him in the minute. Certainly the tires now, Mark, are starting to get a little squishy. They don't really wear out in a 20-lap race, but they start to go a bit marshmallowy. You know that feeling, and the fellas will be having a little bit more difficulty controlling them through these tight corners, Darryl.
Well, traffic also coming into play now. Still 8 laps to go, which is pretty demanding here. And this circuit, of course, with these cars, Mark, quite slippery.
Oh, very slippery. And the thing about it is now is Peter's seen in the mirror the little BMW starting to attack him. So he's going to try, obviously, to get past Larry Perkins and let Larry cop the brunt of Tony's attack.
Well, of course, as predicted, Alan Jones said that the BMWs would get very competitive about half distance, and we predicted that at the start of the race as well. It's happening. Jones now has taken over from John Bowe. So Alan Jones started to make a move up too. He started back on the 9th spot on the grid after putting it into the kitty litter yesterday in a pretty big way. And it's Alan Jones's birthday today. So AJ, happy birthday. And what a great present if he could have won. Of course, I don't think that's possible at the moment, but he enjoys his motor racing like no one that I know.
What is he, 39 today, man?
Oh, I thought he's about 27.
Oh, 27. Good.
45 today. I'm just giving you up, Jonesy.
Yes. Let's say that loud and clear. That's 4-5. 45. Good one. A great champion, a terrific fellow.
Now, look at this, because the traffic can come right into play here. Jimmy Richards has done a great job getting around and putting that Commodore in between him and Win Percy. You can see Percy trying to dart out to get around it now. Seaton follows him through as well. They probably didn't lose too much, but enough. But look at the Holden back up on brakes again. Seaton also does a really good job there. So the advantage they lost, they've picked up under brakes pretty well.
No, they've done very well, and I think if there's a Guernsey to be thrown out this afternoon, Mark, you'd have to say the brakes on that Commodore are superb. They are really doing an extremely good job.
You see the wheels lifting on the Commodore as Percy throws it through. And look at that high-speed stuff there. Great stuff with it sliding through the corners there. The Nissan, of course, doing it a lot more, well, with a lot more style.
Yeah, you can just see Win there now, Darryl. Starting to lock a brake, and the rear tyres are starting to get a little bit ordinary, but he's hanging on fantastically. It's really a very, very good effort there by Win and Glenn to stay in contact with Jimmy.
That was truly a very nice four-wheel drift that Win had going there, and it looked quite spectacular. He's certainly driving the car hard. It's not in second place by accident.
I don't know about that. He really likes to throw a car around and let it use the road. Doesn't use the track up.
Well, they are on 12-inch wheels. The tires are quite wide. They can stand a degree of strain, but certainly I wouldn't think too much more of that will be too healthy. Glenn Seaton well and truly out of the slipstream there. Remark not getting anywhere near the back of Win Percy. He wants to get as much cool air as he can, but under brakes as well, still staying in touch with the two in front.
Tony Longhurst now in 5th position, the BMW. So the laps are starting to run out, but Longhurst making a move. But they're a fair way out of touch with the leading trio here of Jimmy Richards in the Nissan out in front from Win Percy in the big Holden, and then the Ford Sierra of young Glenn Seaton, who has really had a very, very good season season this year. It's a big task to go out and form a team on your own. You've been through that. You know how difficult that is to do and maintain the cars. He's done all of that and done a pretty good job.
He has done an extremely good job, and certainly at his young age to be blooded at Group A international level that we operate here in Australia, he's done a tremendous job for himself and for his sponsors.
6 laps to go. Lap 15 they're on now. Well, Mark, Jimmy Richards now really only has to do it right. He just keeps it all together. He knows wind's there. He knows the tyres are starting to get a little ordinary there. He can see Glenn Seaton and where he's placed. So it now is really just a matter of driving the race at his pace.
Yeah, well, it's never been a problem for Richo before, Darryl, has it? So I don't think he'll have too many problems. But you can just see Wynn there now is an old ploy that Wynn uses. He flicks the lights on, the headlights on every now and then, just to spook the mirror and just maybe to put Richo off his game a little. You just watch him try that.
Spook the mirror or spook the driver. Either way, he's giving him just a serve up. But staying in touch nicely still. And Jim wouldn't want to make a mistake. He wouldn't want to miss a gear change. He certainly wouldn't want to lock up a brake. It could be curtains very quickly in a situation as close as it is at the moment.
Great sight around Adelaide, the touring cars, I think, on street circuits. They're the cars there. You can see a lot of jostling in the background there, a little bit of touch and biff and bang. And as we said, it's surrounded by walls. The noise here, sensationally exhaust noise, sort of rebounds around the place. It really is quite special. Now look at the little BMW now. He's sandwiched himself between the two holders of Larry Perkins and Peter Brock. So Longhurst starting to make a move. He's looking for a top 3 spot, chasing Larry Perkins now.
He'll be looking for a spot here now under brakes into the corner coming onto the pit straight, because he'll set himself up and have a big dive down the inside if he can just stay close enough.
This car is absolutely amazing under brakes.
Yes, they do. They've got tremendous brakes on these BMWs. They've got also a very nice tire package. It's just not the 4-wheel drive car that's got a nice tire wheel combination. If you get a glimpse of the size of the wheels on that, for the size of the car, the BMW is extremely well tired, and he is now really harassing Larry's car in no uncomfortable fashion at all.
Monster-eaming. That's what he's doing. He's monstered him, and he's gone straight through, waited for his chance on Larry Perkins, had to close up under brakes, lost a little bit on the straight, but then under brakes, bang, put the car right on line on the inside and just took Larry Perkins. So, as predicted, Tony Longhurst and the BMW is doing a fantastic job here in Adelaide at the moment.
Got a little paper there on the front of his grill. Half of his grill is blocked off with something. I don't think that's anything but a fish and chips wrapper.
Yeah, that'll probably make it a little bit hard, because obviously if the water temperature comes up in the car, the engine won't perform as well as it could have. And you could see there before when he was behind Larry, he was losing a lot of ground down the straight.
You can see some good driving there as one of the slower cars. The driver points, take me that side, gets way other way. But you can see quite a bit of debris around the circuit. So that paper's blowing around and just whacked into the radiator area. Let's hope that it doesn't affect the performance of this car. But Larry Perkins holding on now down the end of the straight. Oh, and Brock's had a touch with somebody. There's half the side of his car flapping around, and the rear guard just about off. But he'll probably be pulled off the circuit for that, would you think?
They might be kind. It depends. It's unfortunately on the official side of the pit straight, and someone might actually see it, but not actually life-threatening condition there at the moment. They might let him run for another 3 laps.
Well, it's only a piece of plastic, really, when you think about it, but it is hanging down, and Rocky's had a touch somewhere along the line. I think that happened at the top of the straight when they were coming onto the straight. We saw a bit of contact there in the background of our picture. But at the moment, Larry Perkins, has he got back in front of Tony Longhurst? I think he has. So a good battle going on between Longhurst and Perkins at the moment. And a great battle up front. Wynn Percy has done everything he possibly can. He did take the lead briefly. Jimmy Richards fought his way back, and Glenn Seaton, a good drive here so far today, holding on for 3rd spot. Of course, the Tourists will be out again tomorrow.
Here's another 10 or 15 lap race tomorrow, and I'm sure after this one that it'll be a great race again. You just see the rear bumper bar of Brock's. I'd like to put my money on AJ giving Brock a little tap there.
Yes, it looks like he's got every chance to do exactly to Peter what Tony did to Larry, and even if that motor is running a little hot in Tony's car, then there's another BM ready to go. Seems to be quite a few BMWs around here this weekend, Mark. I'm not sure where they've all come from.
Okay, as we come back to the main end of Brabham Straight here, and you can see that maybe there could be a challenge for second place from Seaton. He's a little closer now to win Percy. Percy, of course, is concentrating on how he's going to get past Jimmy Richard, but at the same time looking very carefully in his mirrors, because Seaton is just sitting there waiting to pounce. Glenn would rather finish than second than third.
Absolutely, Darrell. But I do think Wynn is driving just a little bit more conservatively now. I think those rear tires might be quite soggy on the back of that Commodore, and he will be placing it very strategically to make sure that Glenn has a hard way around. Very hard way around if he's going to get a chance at all. But certainly over 18 laps here, Mark, you'd have to agree, 3 cars holding pretty good station throughout the whole race. It's an interesting gap.
It's a lot closer than I thought it was going to be, really, Alan, and they're all doing a good job, those first 3 guys there, aren't they?
Okay, well, of course, the big concert, the big rock and roll action here over the weekend is Paul Simon. Simon over there in the pit area, and gee whiz, he's produced some fantastic music over the years, and really he's going to be a sensation here. A very, very big crowd. Sher last year, Paul Simon this year. It's a place where everybody should be right around Australia. Not just motor racing, it's a whole week of a way of life, isn't it?
It's a happening. It's a real joy to come over here, and it's a tremendous city. Really a nice place to have a 3 or 4 day holiday.
Seaton now starting to make a move with 2 laps to go, and look at Tony Longhurst in the BMW. There he is at the top of the straight as they come down the straight now. So can the little BMW in 2 or 3 laps stay in touch? Not sure about that. But Seaton at the moment making a big challenge. He's all over the back of Win Percy, trying everything he can just to put Percy off. Percy just gets offline for a fraction. He'll dart through and take that second place.
Yeah.
I think there now, Darrell, that the 2 guys in second and third, it's a bit of the survival of the fittest, because Wynn's rear tyres are probably a little ordinary, and Glenn's car is probably a little hotter than he'd like. So engine performance-wise is probably not quite good enough.
AJ also making a bit of a move there too. Alan Jones, he's in touch with Larry Perkins now, so maybe that birthday present he is chasing.
Well, he wants to at least get into the cash for to buy the drinks tonight. You know, as generous as he is, he still needed a bit of petty cash to buy for the pit lane this afternoon.
Jimmy Richards doing a great job around here. The streets of Adelaide really come alive to the sound of the Tourers and the Formula Ones. They are so spectacular around here. As I've said, to drive this circuit, and we've done that in the Celebrity race some years ago, the amount of concrete walls that you see is really, really quite scary. And, of course, we're talking lots of money, lots of horsepower, and the last thing they need to do is just get out of shape here, because you're bound to hit something. And as you can see, the car there, talking about out of shape, well, you really can only get half a lose and lucky to get away with it. But look at this now as Jimmy Richards heads down the straight with Percy, having another thrash at him under brakes. Seaton is there also.
That was fantastic, actually, because I thought Jim was going to T-bone the Commodore then, but obviously now he got a good enough run onto the straight, and Wynn got balked with the same Commodore, and he got away with it.
I'd just be prepared to bet that Glenn Seaton might be ready to launch this engine if he wanted to. He'll get a little bit closer to the back of the Holden now. He's only got 1 more lap, and even if it does run a bit hot, he's got a spare one to throw in it for tomorrow. Big
interest for me is Tony Longhurst in the BMW, right? Jones is up to 5th place. So, as predicted this morning by AJ, he said the cars would become competitive, but they needed to start a little higher up the grid. On the last lap now, the BMW of Longhurst, he's fought all his way to stay in touch. You'll see him coming to shot. There he is there now. But it's the Nissan out in front on the final lap. Win Percy will have a real hard go if he can. And here's AJ inside Peter Brock. Bang, thank you, the little BM. It really is. Oh, it gets it sideways too. And Brocky does it like a high-speed ballet, that one.
And here's another going to be a bit more tap dancing here in a minute. I think Glenn Seaton has got the potential to get by Wynn. He's certainly letting his intentions be known. And apart from what his water temperature gauge is looking like, he may just be able to slingshot himself into second spot.
They come now, final lap. Let's have a look at Glenn Seaton now. Gets him nice and tight. Is he close enough, Mark?
I think he probably is, but what he's got to do now, Darrell, is get onto the back straight here so that he's in a position to pass him at the end of the back straight under brakes. And he's done a good job. It just depends on the exit here.
So Jimmy Richards got all out in front. Look at the little Longhurst BMW. Gee, it only won another lap or so, didn't it? It really has gone so well after fighting its way through the traffic. There it is, the yellow car, just sitting back in 4th place and not that far back, and Alan Jones back in 5th. But the big interest now is between 2nd and 3rd. Win Percy with the Holden has done a magnificent job here so far, and of course they'll be back out tomorrow, so more touring car action to come yet. Now Glenn Seaton, close as he can possibly get. But I don't know if he's going to be able to find a way round. He'll probably try and dive up the inside coming in here, but he's not close enough. So Win Percy, with the way that his brakes have been performing right throughout this race, should be able to hang on. Does so there. That was the only way that Glenn Seaton could have got him up the inside. Look at Longhurst. He's closed right up. Jimmy Richards takes it. Win Percy 2nd. Glenn Seaton is 4th. And, of course, a great drive from Tony Longhurst. We'll be back very shortly. Stay with us, Australia.